It is not Martha Zoller. However, here's the good news for you. Martha will be back tomorrow. She's going to come in tomorrow and say hello and speak about a few things, and then she'll be back regular and full-time on Monday. So you won't have me to kick around much longer is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. I think that covers everybody. I am Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. It's been an exciting, 12 days, soon to be 14 days. Whew, goodness gracious. It's been a very interesting experience these last almost 2 weeks. We've got a great show lined up for you. Me, the fill-in host, who is also providing good entertainment and information to you with our fill-in extraordinaire producer, Brother Avery. So, it's been a wonderful week, and I'm so happy that you're listening today. Now, I'm on the cusp here because I am, I'm the words of my precious, dear, beautiful wife is ringing in my ears as she reminds me, watch your tone. Watch your tone. There are a couple of stories today I'm going to share with you after this first break in just a moment. It's really got me. I mean, it's just maybe I'm just a little chippy because I've been sitting behind this microphone now as an amateur for almost 2 weeks. But these two stories just really irritate me. And I want to present to you, the information that you need regarding these two stories. I want to tell you the truth, obviously. But I'm telling you, these two stories really just bother the heck out of me. But before we go any further, and before I get into that, I want to give you a chance to get your coffee, get prepared, get your dog set aside there. You've been walking your dog or you're on your treadmill. So get all that lined up, and let's begin with this good thing. We call it our pledge.
Magic 102.9 presents the Pledge of Allegiance from Mrs. Brinson's kindergarten class at Lakeview Academy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you so much, kiddos. I appreciate that. Well, one of the stories I want to share with you, I'm going to call it the Surrounded by Winners segment. Actually, it should be entitled Surrounded by the Incompetents. And I'm thinking here of, first, a former lieutenant governor of Georgia who I will go and allow to be unnamed. I'm not going to speak his name. That's how little respect I have for this person. You recently heard on Access WDUN through our news team about the former lieutenant governor of Georgia visiting with a crowd of a couple of hundred folks here in Gainesville. And I got to thinking about some of the things he said, and I'll be talking about that in just a moment. Just hang on. But I got to thinking about that. I got thinking about this scientific, if you could use that word, conference is being held. I got to thinking about a lot of stuff, and I said, you know what? We are quickly becoming surrounded by incompetency. The former lieutenant governor. I'm thinking about 2 U.S. senators from Georgia. I'm thinking about scientists holding a convention with name tags using gender pronouns like they, them, XX or XM, and other descriptors that have little to do with science or biology. I'm thinking about a Kentucky governor who actually has the gall to use scripture to cite his support for cutting off healthy body parts of children and poisoning their bodies because they're simply confused about their gender. I'm thinking about congresspersons who are so incompetent that they can't put 2 strong sentences together when talking about foreign policy. So all this was flooding through my mind last night and early this morning, and I said to myself, you know what? We are surrounded by incompetence. And so these stories and others I have for you today, I'm going to try to be gracious and kind, but I'm going to tell you the truth. It's time to wake up. It's time for you as a voter to wake up and quit wearing your vote on your sleeve. Start making an informed vote, a vote that will make this state and this country great, a vote that will encourage success, economic and otherwise. It's time to use your vote wisely and quit being so gullible. I cannot believe how gullible some people are when it comes to voting for people. And I'm going to talk about that and some other things. And I'm going to be reminded of my wife's advice, watch your tone. I am going to watch my tone, but I'm going to tell you the truth today about these and other stories. All that and much more coming your way right after we take a quick break. You stay tuned. You're listening to Tom Smiley on the Martha Zoller Show.
Every community thrives on its local businesses. Are you supporting yours? This is Phil Benelli, the host of North Georgia Business Radio. Each week, I sit down with local business owners for the trade secrets that make their businesses work. Join us Saturdays at 3 on North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
United we run for those struggling to make ends meet. Join us Saturday, March 21st at 9 a.m. as we race through Phase 2 of the scenic Highlands to Islands Trail. This event features a 5K and 1 mile fun run with every step supporting United Way of Hall County's One Hall United Against Poverty initiative. Make an even bigger impact by becoming a sponsor. For more information and to register, log on to unitedwayhallcounty.org/race.
Hey there, it's Cody Lovin, owner of Crawl Space Medic. Is your crawl space giving you trouble? Maybe it's moisture, structural issues, or even foul odors? Don't worry, my team and I, we've seen it all. At Crawl Space Medic, we specialize in crawl space repairs, encapsulations, and basement waterproofing, ensuring your home's foundation stays solid and protected. We're all about delivering top-notch service you can trust with solutions that last. Give me a call at 706-410-2400 or visit crawlspacemedic.com for a free evaluation.
You already know Gainesville Mechanical for their award-winning HVAC service, but did you know they handle plumbing too? Because plumbing problems never happen at a good time, you need a trusted, experienced team there when they do. From small leaks to major repairs, Gainesville Mechanical is here for you with 24/7 no overtime rates through their customer assurance maintenance plan. Proud to be named Best of Hall for HVAC and plumbing, Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep North Georgia cool since 1989.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, 4 people have been arrested in connection to the February 10th shooting in the parking lot of Stevens County High School. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
770-535-2911. You're going to want to text me or call me, especially after this first segment. 770-535-2911. I'd like to know what you think about these things. I'd like to turn my attention first to a news story that you heard on Access WDUN from our news team. They do such a wonderful job, and they work hard. as I've noticed being here behind this microphone for almost 2 weeks now, those men and women on our news team work hard to bring you up-to-date and current news. And I do appreciate it. I know you do too. Well, the recent news article that they posted, I believe, early this morning about an event yesterday held here in Gainesville from the former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Republican turned Democrat, whose name will go unnamed by me. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no respect for this man, so I'm not going to even use his name. In my estimation, in my opinion, his name isn't worthy to come from my lips. But he is a former lieutenant governor of the state. He is a Republican turned Democrat. He was in town talking about the pride he had in being now a Democrat. And I have a couple of issues with this unnamed former lieutenant governor of Georgia. You know, he talked in the meeting, as was reported by our news team. You know, he talked that there were some tough votes that he had to make as a Republican that he really realized didn't match his faith. Now, get ready for this. One of them had to do with Medicare. I don't know. I'm not getting into that debate. I don't know how you even equate that to what he was talking about. But what really caused me some massive heartburn from this unnamed former lieutenant governor of Georgia, whom I have no respect for, said that, you know what, he would have to go back and undo a vote he took regarding the his support of the heartbeat law. Now, you remember what the heartbeat law was all about? It prohibited an abortion in the state of Georgia once the baby's heartbeat was detected. So he supported that. But now he says, you know what, that was a mistake. And as governor, he says, according to our news team, as governor, he says, I'll sign the executive order and introduce the legislation to repeal the 6-week ban. Okay. Well, now I reckon we know. Now I reckon we really know what votes you wish you could undo when you cast them as a Republican or when you supported them as a Republican. This is absolutely pathetic in my estimation. Not only is it pathetic in my estimation from a moral point, but to use the Scripture, the Holy Scripture of God, to use that as a basis for your saying you're sorry for that vote. This is why, in my estimation, I have to say to you, I can't repeat this man's name. Wouldn't give him the benefit of saying his name out loud. He also talked about in his little meeting he had here in our fair city that, you know, now that he's a Democrat, he realizes that his neighbors have no asterisks beside them. That he sees everyone as his neighbor, red, yellow, black, and white, et cetera, et cetera. I'm kind of reading between the lines there. You can read the story for yourself at Access WDUN. But he says, you know what? I'm proud. I'm a proud Democrat because I have no asterisk marks next to loving my neighbor. But the Republicans, on the other hand, they have all kind of asterisks. See, they can't love their neighbor without the asterisk. Like their neighbor has to be someone who votes like them, someone who looks like them, someone who talks like them, someone who walks like them. Really? I know a lot of Republicans who aren't like that, Mr. No-named former lieutenant governor of the state. Can you tell that I'm a little upset about that? I'm watching my tone. But this really gets to me. These people, like this unnamed former lieutenant governor of Georgia, they come in here and they talk about not drawing lines and being tolerant and accepting everyone. And what's the first thing they do when they start talking? They start drawing lines and being intolerant. Have you noticed that? I mean, it really irritates me. Just listen to some of these people. The first thing they say in their little introductions of their little speeches that aren't worth the paper they're written on, if they're even written on paper. The first thing they say is we have to be careful about lines, and we have to be careful about class, and we have to be careful about this and that in dividing people. And the very first thing they do in their speeches is they start dividing people and drawing lines. What, you really think, Mr. Former Lieutenant Governor, who will be unnamed by me, you really think that Republicans don't love their neighbor? Or only love their neighbors that look like them, talk like them, sound like them? Can I remind you that conservative evangelical Republicans are the greatest contributors to charities that there is? Go look it up. It's the Republican, it's the conservative, it's the evangelical who supports all kinds of nonprofits that do help their neighbors, regardless of their skin color, or their creed, or how they look or talk. Come on, get a grip, former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, unnamed. I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, I really want to encourage you to go to our website, the WDUN, and check out the news team's report. They did an excellent job reporting the facts, and they have the facts. They just simply quoted what he said. And you can read it and see if you agree with it. I don't agree with any of it. And then he has the incompetence to say something like this when asked about, having spoken to Governor Kemp about President Trump, et cetera, and et cetera. He goes on to say something like, well, you know what? I haven't had any discussions with the governor, and I'm disappointed with almost all Republicans that still support Donald Trump. He is the Republican presidential candidate. And you're wondering why Republicans support him? He's the Republican Democrat, the Republican candidate. He's the president. He was elected as a Republican. And you're saying you're wondering why Republicans support him? Former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, yet to be unnamed, yet still to be unnamed by me. And then when it comes to his comments, I mean, I'm telling you, I told you earlier, this first segment isn't for the weak of heart. I'm telling you the truth. And this is Tom Smiley's opinion. You can like it or lump it. You can call me, 770-535-2911. You can tell me your opinion or your ideas, or you can text it, but I'm telling you mine. And he was asked in this little get-together about the ICE detention center in Oakwood. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of questions about that. I have some questions about that. I'm wondering who's paying for it, who's going to run it. I have a lot of questions, but that's not how he answered the question. He went on in regards to answering that question, according to our news team staff, by saying, quote, these ICE raids are humane and un-American. Well, may I ask you, former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, unnamed, may I ask you, who are you talking about in regards to there being inhumane and un-American? Are you talking about those pedophiles and assaulters and murderers that have been run out of our country? Is that who ICE has been inhumane and un-American to, Mr. Former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia? That would have been a wonderful opportunity for you to have said, let me help you out here a little bit so you don't make this kind of gaffe next time. That would have been a wonderful opportunity for you to have said, you know what, I have some concern about et cetera, but I am so thankful for our ICE officers who are putting their lives on the line by running out of our country the pedophiles and the murderers and the criminals who have invaded, unvetted into our country over the last 4 years. That would have been a wonderful time to express some support for these brave men and women of ICE. Is anybody with me out here? Do you get what I'm saying? Raise your hand. Thank you. I see that hand. Thank you. I know I'm hitting a nerve here. 770-535-2911. I am Tom Smiley. I am not Martha Zoller. You can call me or text me if you like. 770-535-2911. one. I just don't get people like this. Let me ask this former lieutenant governor yet to be named by me. Are you going to be able, as a Democrat, to oppose reading porn to grade school children? As a Democrat running for governor now, former lieutenant governor, are you going to be able to oppose men being in girls' locker rooms? Are you going to be able to oppose wasteful spending? Are you going to be able to oppose deporting illegals? I mean, what are you now going to be against? Can you be against defunding ICE? Can you be against sex change operations in prisons for inmates sponsored by the taxpayer? Are you going to be able to be against the lie that men can have babies and breastfeed? What about it, former lieutenant governor? Well, I wish that we could have had more time with him to ask him these questions. He gets these little softball questions, doesn't want to answer them, and yet he wants to lecture me on what the Scripture says about being a neighbor. Asinine, as my father would say, if he were still in this world. I'm just telling, this is my opinion. You can have your own. I'm sure you do. 770-535-2911. You can give me a call or send me a text. Now I'm going to get to the second part of this segment, talking about another story that's really got me bothered about a bunch of scientists who don't know if men can get pregnant. We'll be right back.
Does your office technology slow your team down? Nothing is more frustrating than printers that jam, copiers that won't connect, and service providers that don't follow through. You and your team deserve technology that works. I'm Matt Nick, president of Duplicating Products, and for over 50 years, we've helped North Georgia offices eliminate bottlenecks, reduce downtime, and get reliable support for office technology. Our promise, we do what we say we will do. If you're tired of office equipment headaches, it's time for a change. Visit us today at duplicatingproducts.com.
There's no doubt we've seen all the snow we want to see. But a blizzard? That's a different thing. That's because I'm talking about the famous gotta-have Dairy Queen Blizzard. Right now, Dairy Queen is offering buy one, get one blizzards on Sundays. Just think of it. All your favorite blizzard favorites are BOGO on Sundays. So grab a friend and head for BOGO Blizzards this Sunday at Dairy Queen of Gainesville on Green Street and Shallowford Road and on Frontage Road in Oakwood. There's never a good day for bad weather, but there's never a bad day for a Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Discover what makes business thrive in our community at the Greater Hall Chamber Business Showcase, Tuesday, February 24th from 2 until 7 at the Gainesville Civic Center. Meet over 50 local exhibitors showcasing the products and services that power Gainesville and Hall County. The event is free and open to the public, and at 5 o'clock, join us for the new Showcase Social with local light bites and networking. Make plans to attend the Greater Hall Chamber Business Showcase. Find all the details at greaterhallchamber.com.
It was quite a day in Daytona.
Chase Elliott the leader. Here comes Tyler Reddick. He'll make the move. They're crashing behind him. Elliott's in the wall. Checkered flag is out. Tyler Reddick wins the 68th running of the Daytona 500.
Now NASCAR heads for Atlanta for the Auto Trader 400 Sunday at 2 on North Georgia's home of NASCAR. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. 6 rescued, 9 skiers missing in a Sierra avalanche at Castle Peak near Lake Tahoe. Fox Weather's Britta Merwin on extreme conditions for search and rescue.
When you look at the snowpack out west, we haven't had much winter weather, and so this 3 feet of fresh snow is really unstable. It's very heavy with Pacific moisture. We call it Sierra cement for a reason, and it certainly feels like that.
With another 2 to 3 feet expected this afternoon, more avalanche hazard for the Cascades and throughout the Rockies. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg in federal court in L.A. to answer a California woman's claim that social media sought to profit by creating addiction they knew would harm kids' mental health. The search for Nancy Guthrie, day 18. The FBI seeks a DNA crime scene match in the genealogical database. America is listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. A home in Gainesville declared a total loss as 3 people were displaced from a fire Tuesday afternoon. Hall County Fire Rescue crews responded at around 1:45 p.m. to a home on Garden Drive. Firefighters arrived to find a basement fully involved in flames. The cause is still under investigation with Hall County Fire Marshal's office. Democratic candidate for Georgia Governor Jeff Duncan held an event in Gainesville Tuesday night. He switched parties following the 2020 elections and cited his faith as a primary reason for turning away from the Republican Party.
Most people wake up with the charge of loving your neighbor. The problem is Republicans have asterisk marks next to that. If your neighbor doesn't look like you, act like you, love like you, or vote like you, you're not really allowed to love your neighbor. I'm a proud Democrat because I have no asterisk marks next to loving my neighbor.
The Georgia State primary for the race is May 19th, and a total of 13 students at Lanier Tech have been named inaugural recipients for the institution's Tim McDonald Scholarships. WDUN's Lawson Smith reports.
During Lanier Technical College's spring 2026 semester, 13 students have been appointed as Tim McDonald Scholars in reference to Lanier Technical College's 8th president, Tim McDonald. This inaugural group was awarded tuition-based scholarships based on grade point average, academic progression, and county of residency, courtesy of donations from the Melvin Douglas and Victoria K. Ivester Foundation.
A link to Lanier Tech and more news can be found at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies, mid to upper 60s. More clouds expected into tonight with lows in the upper 50s early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Cornelia, 53 degrees, Bethlehem, 56, and in Gainesville, 54. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
We're talking with Mike Robertson of Oakwood Tire and More. And Mike, I understand you guys have moved. Where can we find you?
3440 Mabry Road, which is right off of Mountain View.
Still offering the same services?
We won't be doing alignments, but we'll be doing tires. Tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, those kind of things that normal maintenance repair.
Sounds good. Give us the address one more time. Make sure we don't miss out.
You can find us at 3440 Mabry Road at oakwoodtire.com or even the same phone number, 770-535-0943.
Spring is just around the corner, and the last thing you want to do is spend all your weekends on yard work. Echo Power Equipment takes the hassle out of work, so chore time won't get in the way of your time. Find your own trusted professional-grade Echo equipment at Howard Brothers. They have the best equipment selection and price available. Their team is ready to serve and to help you plan your spring the right way. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Echo and Howard Brothers.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. Should be with you until Friday. Never know about the old management hook that could come in at any time. But my fill-in extraordinaire producer, Brother Avery, has the doors barricaded, the windows blocked and sealed, and I think we're safe from management at the present time. So I should be back with you tomorrow and Friday. We get text, and today we've had several of them. Evidently, I've hit a nerve. Oh, Lord have mercy. So a couple of texts here I'll read to you real quick before I tell you the other story that's got my, what is it, dandruff? What's that word? What's that phrase? It's got my danner? What's that word? Dandruff up? Whatever it's called.
I mean, all I've heard is something's got your panties in wad. That's really all that I know.
Oh, no, this is a family show. We can't say that. Okay. Okay, anyway. Somebody said that to me. I'm looking for that phrase, about Anyway, send it to me. We got enough listeners out there that know what I'm talking about. Here's one from a listener, 26 number. Dr. Smiley, thank you. I have a lot of respect for you and your ability to speak your mind. And thank you for your comments about the former Lieutenant Governor. You are spot on. Well, I appreciate that so very much. Thank you. And then another one here. This is someone from a 21 number. One of our listeners writes and says the former Lieutenant Governor has evidently taken a deep drink of the toxic leftist Kool-Aid. The misuse of Scripture to justify sin that is abhorrent to God. I would not want to stand before the holy judge on that day and truly justify this turn of beliefs by using the Word of God. Help us all not to fall in the same pit. That's from Judy in West Haven. Oh, there's a bunch of little kitties outside the door. Hello, guys. How are y'all? There. Oh, there's that's knock on the window. That's my sister. That's my daughter-in-law. That is my daughter-in-law. Knock on the window right there so she can see me. She doesn't see me. She doesn't see me. She doesn't see me. There she is. She sees me now. That's my daughter-in-law who is a teacher, and she's got a bunch of kitties coming to look. I reckon they're learning how to make
over
candy
at Kilwins, yeah.
next door.
Had a couple field trips this morning.
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Boy, they look so. God, that's the future of our country. Mr. Lieutenant Governor, yet to be unnamed, yet to be named by me, and I would prefer that they not be brainwashed by people like yourself. That's my opinion. Here's one. This is from Sue. Sue says, "Hey, Dr. Tom, please tell us his name. We want to know for future events." Sue, his name isn't worthy to come from my lips, but I will tell you how you can find out his name. Go to accesswdun.com. Go to accesswdun.com, and you'll see to whom I am referring. He's not worthy. In my opinion, for me, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say his name. Another one of our listeners at 04 is a phone number, says, hey, the said former Lieutenant Governor based his party change on the 2020 fraud that has been proven true. He has three major obstacles as a Democrat. He is white, male, and he has a net worth of millions of dollars. Okay, thank you for that. That's a 04 number. And then finally, this is my favorite text so far. If I had a bell, I'd ring it for you. This is a 26 number, and the texter says, Dr. Smiley, my hands are raised. I hear you, and I agree. I just asked our young extraordinaire fill-in producer, Brother Avery, if he understood my references to I see that hand, I see that hand. And he does. He does indeed. Great text. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and opinions. You can do that, 770-535-2911. Okay, so there is a story I want to share with you that's got me bothered. This is a story about one of the world's largest and most influential scientific societies that's holding its annual conference, that held its annual conference actually last week. Now, this is supposed to be a scientific conference, a scientific group of people coming together to talk about scientific things. But yet that's not what it is or what it was, as I understand it. Because the attendees of this conference is actually called the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the AAAS. And the first thing that you would see was how they had their identification stickers that used gender pronouns like they and them, like X and Xer, like XM and XM. I don't know. I don't know what these things mean. I've never heard of them, but they are some type of descriptors that appear to me to have nothing to do with science or biology. I mean, these people are supposed to be scientists, and yet all they can talk about are things that they want to invade the minds of the young ones. And I think people like this pose a threat to us and through our country because they're not scientists, they are activists. Because you see, scientists could answer this question.
Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. Absolutely. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
this is extraordinary.
Female with
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men.
I cannot. I can't believe it. This is a doctor woman who, as I understand it, is an adjunct at Emory. Maybe someone should call the medical department at Emory and ask if this doctor actually completely, fully passed her medical boards. I don't know. I'm just asking, was the question about who gets pregnant and who doesn't get pregnant, was that not on her medical board questions? I mean, was that a multiple choice or a true or false? I don't know. I mean, this is why people have such little respect for people like this. I mean, because they just won't answer the question. They were there, and in her own words, she said, science and evidence should guide the discussion. Science and evidence. And yet she can't answer the question, can men get pregnant? Here's one for you. Can men breastfeed? How about that? Let's ask that question. I'm just telling you, this is absolutely amazing. And the participants at the AAAS science event want you to trust them when they're really not about science. They're not about science at all. What they're about is discouraging participants from relying on their effort and merit to turn and to turn the focus to race and ethnicity. That's what they're about, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't about science. This isn't about evidence. This is about far left radical ideology that will destroy this US of A. I'm telling you it will. We'll be right back. I have a phone call waiting. Tim, hang on. You're next up. You're listening to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley.
And the schools and the agents, they have ruined college sports. It's insane.
It's Todd Starnes weekdays at noon on North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Slow down and listen. This is Mike Martin with a thought from God's Word. Psalms 46:10 says for us to be still and know that I'm God. I remember going to my grandmother's house and listening to her talk about Jesus. She told me the only way to grow closer to Him was to do the following. Number 1, find out who Christ is. Examining God's Word would give me the best understanding of who God is. Number 2, fellowship with Him more intimately. This means spending quality time along with Him every day. Number 3, follow Jesus Christ's example. The Holy Spirit will instruct me how to follow Christ and obey His Word. Number 4, faithfully claim His promises and trust Him to fulfill them. The only way I can claim His promises is to dig into His Word and practice the 3 previous points before I can succeed at this one. These thoughts brought to you by the staff at Milton Martin Toyota, your oldest Toyota dealership in Georgia. Come see us at Milton Martin Toyota or visit us on the web at www.miltonmartintoyota.com.
Dermatology Associates of Northeast Georgia is Northeast Georgia's leading dermatology practice, offering cosmetic and medical dermatology services and no surgery. Our experienced medical providers are available at 3 locations, including Gainesville, Demarest, and Dahlonega, to care for our local community. As 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by age 70, our medical providers remind you of the importance of yearly full skin exams. Book your appointment today and help us beat America's most common cancer. Learn more at negeorgiaderm.com.
Should you make your trust the beneficiary of your IRA? So many say you shouldn't, but we say you should. This is Kevin Tharp, elder law and estate planning attorney, and if you want your IRA to be protected for your surviving spouse, children, or family, then you should leave it to them at your death through a trust. For more information, go to my website, kevintharp.com.
You already know Gainesville Mechanical for their award-winning HVAC service, but did you know they handle plumbing too? Because plumbing problems never happen at a good time, you need a trusted, experienced team there when they do. From small leaks to major repairs, Gainesville Mechanical is here for you with 24/7 no overtime rates through their customer assurance maintenance plan. Proud to be named Best of Hall for HVAC and plumbing, Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep North Georgia cool since 1989.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, the City of Gainesville School System will have a new Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning soon. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
All right, we have a phone caller, and by the way, we have an answer to my query, and we'll share that in just a moment. Brother Avery's going to help me with that. But I had one of our great listeners, Larry. Thank you for helping me out. I was lost regarding that word, and you've helped me, and we're going to share that in just a minute. But we're going to get the phone call first. Hello, Tim. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show.
Good morning, Molly. This is my first time ever talking to you on the air, and I appreciate you taking the call.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I have been looking over social media the last, let's say, 2 weeks, and I would say so much of it is, this SAVE Act that they're trying to get, so you have to get voter ID cards. There's quite a bit of that on there. They're going to stop millions of women from voting and all this other stuff that they're trying to put out there. I put this up that let's take every large city in America that has bus transportation and say, if you'll come down here and get a card, you can have free bus rides. Wind out and watch and see how long the lines are to get the free bus rides.
I understand.
If it's something that you can get free, you get something free for it. You couldn't staff it enough to keep the people away. It would be. They'd be out there in freezing weather, ready to get their free bus ride card. But to get a voter ID card, I don't know, that's going to take too much.
Well, Tim, you are expressing the frustration that many people have when they hear that kind of argument. And for people like you and me, Tim, it just doesn't make sense. It's just asinine for people to think that people can't figure out how to get an ID, how to get their last name changed. People get married every day, and they have to change their last name to their married name. I mean, that happens every single day.
Let me ask you one other question. With all the people wanting DEI hires, do you think the pilots on Air Force One are DEIs?
Very good analogy. That you're spot on. You're spot on with that analogy, Tim. Because no, they're not. They're not hired through DEI. They're hired through merit and capacity. Good call, Tim. Thank you so much for waiting, and thank you for sharing a good call regarding the topics we're discussing. All right, so here it is. It is dander is what it is. Is that right, Brother Avery?
Yes, sir. Dander.
So this comes from Larry. I was trying to remember that saying because I said earlier I have these two stories that have gotten my dander up. Mm-hmm. I couldn't remember that word. What does that mean, Brother Avery?
So dander consists of tiny microscopic flecks of dead skin shed by animals with fur, hair, or feathers, such as dogs, cats, and birds, and that's typically what, if I remember correctly, that's what most people are actually allergic to when they say they're allergic to animals. They're actually allergic to the dander, so they're allergic to the dead skin that falls off.
That is very good. You have got to get the award for the fill-in producer of the year for that kind of research. So these two stories, I'm accurate in saying, have gotten my dander up.
They've got you agitated, yes, sir.
Have gotten me agitated.
To say the absolute least.
Oh, I love you, brother producer. All right, we have a phone call. Let's check it out.
Yes, sir. We've got Tom from Lula.
Okay, Tom, welcome to the Martha Zoller Show.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm fine, brother.
So Tim just called about the free bus rides versus going to the voter rides. How about a free bus ride to the place where you get your free ID so that then you can go vote? How about that?
And then
how about bus rides for the people that can't afford it or whatever to the polling stations on the day? I know the Democrats take them all down there, after they paid them to vote and all that stuff. But let's make it more public and more transparent.
Tom, doesn't it seem just odd to you that the Democrats want people to believe that poor white people, brown people, black people, red people, orange people, that they don't have the capacity or the common sense to get an ID, to get their last name changed, to have proof of citizenship, but that's only the rich white people that can do. Does that not irritate you when you hear that kind of stuff?
I can't say on the air how I feel about that.
Well, thank you. This is a family show, so thank you so much.
I'm doing the anti-M.
Yeah.
I'm holding off.
Yeah, but it is amazing, isn't it, Tom? I mean, it just, for people with common sense, we just look at these and who believes these people, who trusts these people. I just don't get it.
Well, when you have godless, globalist control freaks, this is what you get.
Well, I think you're right about that.
End of story.
Yeah.
End of story.
Right. Thank you, Tom. Great phone call. I appreciate your comments. Appreciate you listening. I was telling our producer off the air, and I know some of you are not going to believe this when I tell you. You're not going to believe it. You're just going to say, Tom, Smiley, you're making that up. You're exaggerating. But I'm telling you, this is the truth. What I'm about to tell you. Many, many, many years ago, I can tell you exactly when it was. It was back during the Benghazi attack. You remember that? And the hearings they had. And you remember that? That's been years ago. Do you remember? Are you with me? Raise your hand. Okay, I see that hand. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. I told some friends that I was having lunch with or coffee with during that time. I said, you know what? If I were a senator or a congressman and Hillary Clinton came before the committee I was sitting on, that I would not, like many of the congressmen and senators do, I would not say in my opening comments, Madam Secretary, we are so very happy to have you. Madam Secretary, we're so very thankful that you're present. Madam Secretary, I have a few questions I'd like to get your answers to and get your opinions on. That I would never have said that. I'm telling you, if I were a congressman or a senator, that's not how I would open my opening. I told my friends, no, instead, what I would say if I were there, I would say something like this: Madam Secretary, I have no respect for you whatsoever. I believe you're a liar and a cheat. I don't think I'm going to get a single honest answer out of you today. But, Madam Secretary, this is what we have to do. And so I do have a couple of questions. And if you would like, I would appreciate you giving me an honest response. However, I don't believe, Madam Secretary, that you will. That's how I, Tom Smiley, would have approached it. And my friend said, oh, you're crazy. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. And I'm saying I would. Because I have no respect for people like that. No respect whatsoever. In my opinion, many of the people that come before Congress in these hearings and in these, in these hearings, many of them, they're just liars. They're not truthful. You'll never get the answers that are accurate and honest from them. They don't have it in them to give those kind of answers. I just remember that. That just popped in my mind today because I remember that conversation as if it were yesterday. Some of you can text me an answer, 770-535-2911. When was that? It was back during the Benghazi hearings. What year was that? That's how long it's been, and that's when I first said that to my friends. All right, we have a caller on the line. We don't have time. I'm sorry. We just don't. We don't have time. We're up against a very hard break. We'll go to this next break, and if you can hang on or call back, I'll just put the phone down and go about and do some things and come back about 10:03 or so, and we can pick up your call, okay? Hey, I'm Tom Smiley. I really am enjoying being with you today. Thank you so much for listening, for your calls and text. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Some car dealers want to sell you a car. At Hardy Chevrolet, we'd rather help you find the vehicle that's right for you. This is Mike Cormier. We call it the Hardy Chevrolet difference. Since you're the one who will be in the driver's seat of that new Chevy, we think you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to making the selection. It's like Charles Hardy always said.
We love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
Digging through the snow, looking for missing skiers. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 9 of them still unaccounted for after an avalanche near Lake Tahoe in California. Nevada County Sheriff Russell Green tells Fox.
It's in a mountainous area. It's very limited visibility. It's
hard to access.
Rescuers late Tuesday reaching 6 survivors who communicated with officials through emergency beacons and took shelter under a tarp. The group, on a 3-day guided trip, were staying in remote cabins just north of Donner Pass. The slide occurred in the popular backcountry skiing area of Castle Peak in Truckee, California, where an avalanche last month left one man dead.
Fox's Lillian Wu. More peace talks today in Geneva between Russia and Ukraine, brokered by American negotiators trying to end that war as Russia gets ready to play war games with Iran.
The joint naval exercises will take place tomorrow in the Sea of Oman and the northern Indian Ocean, not far from some of the warships sent to the region by President Trump to put pressure on Iran. Talks between the US and Iran took place yesterday, with no deal yet on the Iranian nuclear program. Yesterday, Iran temporarily shut the Strait of Hormuz, a key trade route, while it conducted live fire exercises.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. There was drama at Houston's Hobby Airport early this morning. A man was taken off a plane in handcuffs after police say he'd tried to breach the cockpit before a Delta flight took off, believed to be headed for Atlanta. A famous American skier just struck gold at the Winter Olympics. Michaela Schifrin in the women's slalom.
This victory ended an 8-year drought without an Olympics medal. The most decorated alpine skier ever, Schifrin had gone 8 starts in Olympic competition without a medal. Wednesday's victory in Italy, Schifrin's 3rd career gold medal and first since the 2014 Olympics. Schifrin holds the world record for the most World Cup skiing victories with 108.
It's Fox's Jared Max. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. A Gainesville home has declared a total loss while 3 people are displaced from a Tuesday afternoon fire. WDUN's Hamilton Keener reports.
Hall County Fire Rescue said crews responded to the home near Garden Drive at around 1:45 p.m. Crews arrived and found a bedroom in the basement of the 2-story home engulfed in flames. The flames reached the 2nd floor and attic space. The fire was knocked down within 15 minutes. The cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation by the Hall County Fire Marshal's office.
After a physical altercation led to shots being fired in the Stevens County High School parking lot, authorities have now arrested 4 people in connection to the incident. More from WDUN's Lawson Smith.
The Stevens County Sheriff's Office says 17-year-old Janarian Riley of Livonia and 24-year-old Kaeri Thomas of Royston both turned themselves in on February 11th. Riley is believed to have discharged the firearm, while Thomas allegedly drove the vehicle Riley used to escape. Both are affiliated with the Bloods criminal street gang. Additionally, Riley's mother, 33-year-old Jalashe Gray, was arrested for allegedly conspiring with her son to conceal the evidence. 17-year-old Tykarian Brown of Toccoa was also arrested in the case. A list of charges is on Access WDUN.
At Gainesville Civic Center Tuesday evening, Forsyth County resident, candidate for Georgia governor and Republican-turned-Democrat Jeff Duncan fielded a wide array of questions in front of a crowd numbering nearly 200. He addressed the reason behind his party switch, ICE detention centers, as well as going on the offensive against Republican gubernatorial candidate and current Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones.
Like Donald Trump picked it. His dad gave him $10 million. He was a fake election. I called him in my office and I said, Burt, I'm going to fire you as the insurance committee chair. And I sent him out. I beat him then, I'll beat him again.
Now, Duncan said that Jones would be his next opponent, but the primary for the crowded Democratic field will be on May 19th. And Gainesville City School System is officially announcing appointment of its next assistant superintendent for teaching and learning. Mrs. Shay Ray is a veteran educator with over 20 years of dedicated service to the school district. A press release from Superintendent Dr. Jeremy Williams' office says Mrs. Ray brings a wealth of institutional knowledge and a proven track record of strategic leadership to her new role, which will begin on July 1st. More news online at Access WDUN. Now, here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies. The overcast is in abundance, mid to upper 60s. More clouds expected into tonight with lows in the upper 50s by early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
Right now in Blairsville, 53 degrees. Sugar Hill reporting 56. And in Gainesville, 55. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Winter days have me dreaming of sunny, warm shores and great times with friends around the table. That's why I'm looking forward to teaming up with Colette and Peach State Bank and Trust to head to Portugal with you this fall. It's Bill Main inviting you to join us as we enjoy multiple nights in charming Porto and the amazing Algarve coast. We'll walk the cobblestone streets and cruise the scenic Douro River, From the colorful capital of Lisbon to the stunning whitewashed villages of the Algarve, we'll savor wonderful foods, bask on beautiful beaches, and even tour a family-owned cork factory. If you missed the recent informational meeting we had with Colette, fear not. It's not too late to find out more and to get signed up. All you need to do is log on to WDUNTravels.com for all the information. You can even sign up there. Or call Colette at 800-581-8942. Get your questions answered and then get on board with us September 28th as we head for Portugal. Presented by Colette, Peach State Bank and Trust, and North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
Talking about the issues that affect you most. It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. Now from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, here's Martha Zoller on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley, filling in for Martha. She's going to be back with us tomorrow for just a little while. And I reckon she's going to come in and try to pick up the pieces of her show that are left. And then she is scheduled to be back live and in person on Monday. So we love Martha, and we are grateful for all that she does. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. How she does what she does 5 days a week, 45 times a year, I don't understand it. I've been with you now for about 13 days, 12, 13 days. And man, oh man, it's hard. With all the show prep and putting stuff together and trying to get organized, and it's just hard. And she does a tremendous job. And she's so very knowledgeable. So I know you're looking forward to having her back, and I'm looking forward to hearing her as well. So she'll be with us tomorrow for a little while, and then back with you on Monday. Okay, I'm looking at some text. Let's see. Oh, let me read a couple of new text here. Hey, Tom, this is from a 6-3 number. Hey, Dr. Tom, love when you're on filling in. I wish you were on more. Thank you. I don't know if the world can handle it. I'm so tired of the, quote, other who is always, I'm so tired of others who don't seem to really have their minds opened. Thanks for sharing your opinions with us. Thank you so much for that kindness. I appreciate that. And then again, I want to say, here's one. I'll read this to you real quick. This is from a 4-8 number. Hey, Tom, great show. Should we call down to Emory and ask the question, can men get pregnant? Hey, that'd be a good, somebody call Emory, the medical department in Emory, and ask that question, and then call me back and tell me what they said. The only thing I've ever heard was Yeah, do that. Call Emory Medical Department and ask them. By the way, I asked a doctor at church Sunday. I was driving the golf carts, and he was coming by, and I said, hey, Doc, I have a question for you. Can men get pregnant? And you know what? He didn't even have to stop walking. He was continuing to walk, going in the door, and just said no. So it doesn't seem to be that hard of a question. Thanks for these texts, 770-535-2911. I appreciate you, and I will read others as we receive them. And don't forget, if you want to call, you can do that. All right, I've got a couple of audios I want to get to. Really just some stuff I want to clean up that I put together many days ago. But before we do that, we'll catch a phone call. Hey, welcome to the Martha Zoller Show. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Hey, go ahead.
Hi, Todd. I love it when you're on.
Thank you.
Listen, I've been hearing a lot about this voter ID thing, and what I'm hearing on these conservative television shows that I watch are the Democrats that come on and say you've got to have a passport. Well, that's a load of crap, and nobody's going to push back on that. I see these Republican hosts that aren't pushing back on that and saying, no, you don't need a passport. They're letting that slide, and I think that's going to really deter a lot of people.
Yep.
Have you noticed that? Or
Yeah, no, I have noticed that, and I think it's a matter of time and timing and so forth. I mean, because you just can't push back on all of their nonsense. But no, you're exactly right. You don't need a passport.
No,
but isn't it interesting to you though? I mean, how do you square the fact that you have to have a voter ID to get into Senator Ossoff's, event, to hear him talk about why you don't have to have an ID to vote? I mean, when you hear that as just a regular, ordinary citizen, does that not give you pause?
They're just two-faced, awful people. They're horrible people. That's all I can say. It's really all I can say about them.
Yeah, I just don't understand it, and so it leads me to wonder. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they think that the average American voter is just stupid, or we don't care, or are we going to forget?
Or that uninformed. I think they're very, very uninformed. I think not most people maybe, but a lot of people don't listen to talk radio. They don't watch conservative news. They don't know anything except what they're seeing on TikTok or something like that, I guess, anymore. I'm just afraid that they're not pushing back, that the places that are being shown, that are showing these Democrats and stuff, they're just not pushing back. Nobody ever follows up with a question or pushes back, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, I don't get it. I know the frustration you're expressing is the frustration I feel. I mean, and I think for people like us, I mean, and did you hear earlier my little thing? You may have heard it before about, Senator Hawley just asking the doctor, can men get pregnant? And they can't answer a simple question.
100 times. Yes, it drives me nuts every time I see it.
I mean, would you use her as your doctor?
I was just going to say, no way would I ever use her as my doctor.
Yeah. I don't get it. Well, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your calling. Thanks for your comment and for your kindness. I do enjoy being here. I really, really do. I appreciate Martha's confidence, and I really do enjoy being on. And I hope that she'll continue to allow me the opportunity and the honor. All right. So here is something from Marco Rubio talking about pushback, talking about how some people they don't know the facts. So this is very important. You need to hear what Marco Rubio says in this bite about the visa, because we're not talking about a Visa card. We're talking about the visa, because there's a lot of confusion about that and about the president's position in regards to people who have and hold visas, and how we can, as Americans, take it away from them. That's not illegal. I mean, Marco Rubio just speaks good common sense. And so, for those of you like the last caller and like myself who just want common sense and know the facts, this is something we should know and we should be promoting and proclaiming. Here's Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State.
I've said this repeatedly. I don't know why it's so hard for some to comprehend it, so let me repeat it again. A visa, no one's entitled to a visa. There is no constitutional right to a visa. Okay, a visa is a permission to enter our country as a visitor. If you enter our country as a visitor, and as a visitor in our country, be it a student, a tourist, a journalist, whatever you want to be, and you undertake activities that are against the national interest and national security of the United States, we will take away your visa. In fact, if we knew you were going to do it, we probably wouldn't have given you your visa.
Now, what about that don't you understand? How is that so hard? I'll play that again, producer extraordinaire. This is very important. I mean, this is something you can't miss. I'm not trying to belabor the point. I'm not trying to kill time. I'm just asking you, what about this don't you understand?
This repeatedly. I don't know why it's so hard for some to comprehend it, so let me repeat it again. A visa, no one's entitled to a visa. There is no constitutional right to a visa. Okay, a visa is a permission to enter our country as a visitor. If you enter our country as a visitor, and as a visitor in our country, be it a student, a tourist, a journalist, whatever you want to be, and you undertake activities that are against the national interest and national security of the United States, we will take away your visa. In fact, if we knew you were going to do it, we probably wouldn't have given you your visa.
That's the truth. And these wacko lunatic, these wacko communist, socialist, Marxist, the wacko legacy news media, why can't you get that? That's the law. And there's no due process in that. We just take it away because you don't deserve it. It's a gift in the first place. I mean, it's like saying, I invite you into my house as a guest, and you begin immediately to destroy it. I can't ask you to leave. I can't throw you out on your keister. I can't boot you out the door. Why? You were my guest to begin with. You abused my generosity and hospitality, and what I'm supposed to just sit there and take it? The visa is a gift. We're allowing you to come into our country for a period of time. It's a gift. It's an honor. It's a privilege. You can't come into our house now and just begin to just dismantle it and destroy it, create chaos and lunacy, and expect to stay. Do you see how easy this is, really? This stuff isn't rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. It's just common sense. Now, along that same vein, I want to play an audio with you. This is one about, I found this very interesting, talking about, visas and immigration and so forth. So here's a little clip about why many Muslim countries won't take in many of these immigrants that are creating chaos and havoc in our own communities, in our own country. The Muslims, they don't want them in their country either. Listen to this.
85% of the world's refugees are Muslim, yet not one of the 56 Muslim countries is taking them in. 11 of those countries are some of the richest on earth, but they won't lift a finger. So who's taking them? The radical left in the West. Why? To buy votes and funnel billions through bloated aid programs that never reach the people. It's not about compassion. It's about control, using chaos and migration to secure permanent political power. Every refugee crisis becomes another payday and another guaranteed ballot. They're not saving lives, they're laundering money and stealing nations.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is not some type of right-wing radical talking point. That is the truth. Many of the Muslim countries, some who are extremely wealthy, will not take in some of these immigrants that we are expected to take in by the left-wing radicals of our country because they don't want them. They have seen what they do and the chaos they create, and they don't want them. But the left-wing lunatic radicals in America want them, and the reason they want them is they want their vote. That's why, and that's the truth. All right, we'll take a phone call real quick. You're listening to the Martha Zoller Show. Welcome. Glad you called. Welcome.
Yeah, that's my first time calling. On this open border, I'd never heard anyone ask why they had the borders open. And I believe they got so far left, the Democrats have, that they were losing so many votes because of it. When the Republicans got in, they left these open borders to get these people in. So the Republicans would go after them and deport them. And they were hoping people would die from it so they could point fingers and with their liberal news media and say, look what they're doing, so they could get these midterm votes. And I think it's just a ploy.
Well, that's a very good description. I think you are correct in your estimation there. You should call again because that was an excellent first-time call. You did great. You were clear, and you did a good job, I think, describing the situation. Yes, I will tell you this, that the radical left, they look for martyrs all the time. That's why they want to promote the 2 killings in Minnesota. The 2 killings by ICE agents whose lives were in jeopardy, who were protecting Americans. They want and need those types of martyrs for their cause. They don't care about those 2 people that were killed. Do you understand that? They don't care about those 2 people. They need other people to be killed in order to promote their ideology. They are looking for martyrs. They need martyrs to continue their chaos and their confusion. And it doesn't matter what it doesn't matter their techniques. The ends justify their means. I got some sound on that in just a minute. I'll come back and share that with you. We'll take a quick break first. Is that right, Avery? And then we'll be right back. You're listening to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. Thanks for your calls and for your texts, 770-535-2911. This has been fun today. Thank you.
Everyone wants to live a rich life, especially in retirement. Join Rich Life advisor Bo Henderson for the Rich Life Retirement Show, where the math shows you the path. Sundays at 12:35 on WDUN.
Looking for real farm fresh meat? At Potts Family Meats, we bring you beef the way it's meant to be. Raised locally, cut fresh, and packed with the quality only a family operation can deliver. From thick, juicy steaks to tender roast and the freshest ground beef in town, Potts Family Meats brings the farm straight to your table. No shortcuts, no long-distance shipping, just honest, homegrown beef you can trust. Stop in today and taste the difference or shop online at pottsbrosfarm.com to schedule your delivery. Potts Family Meats, farm fresh, family proud, always local.
Discover what makes business thrive in our community at the Greater Hall Chamber Business Showcase, Tuesday, February 24th from 2 until 7 at the Gainesville Civic Center. Meet over 50 local exhibitors showcasing the products and services that power Gainesville and Hall County. The event is free and open to the public, and at 5 o'clock, join us for the new Showcase Social with local light bites and networking. Make plans to attend the Greater Hall Chamber Business Showcase. Find all the details at greaterhallchamber.com.
Does your office technology slow your team down? Nothing is more frustrating than printers that jam, copiers that won't connect, and service providers that don't follow through. You and your team deserve technology that works. I'm Matt Nick, president of Duplicating Products, and for over 50 years, we've helped North Georgia offices eliminate bottlenecks, reduce downtime, and get reliable support for office technology. Our promise, we do what we say we will do. If you're tired of office equipment headaches, it's time for a change. Visit us today at duplicatingproducts.com.
Rise and shine with M&R Equipment and Rental. Your project success is our first job of the day. Whether it's landscaping, construction, or home renovation, we've got your back with our wide range of high-quality tools and equipment. We make starting your day easy. Simply pick your tool, choose your rental period, and get down to business. No job is too big or small. From saws to skid steers, we've got you covered and at prices that won't break your budget. Visit us at mnrrental.com. We're here to help you build a brighter tomorrow.
This is Grant Nichols, and at Loretta's Country Kitchen, we know life can really pile up. There's work, getting the kids to practice, shopping. With all that, the week can really wear you out. The last thing you want to do is spend Saturday in the kitchen. Not to worry. We have you covered with Saturday lunch at Loretta's. That's right. Not only are we open for breakfast on Saturdays, we're also serving up lunch from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Give your kitchen and your family a break with Saturday lunch at Loretta's Country Kitchen, Mundy Mow Road, Oakwood, where it's all good.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Democratic candidate for Georgia Governor Jeff Duncan held an event in Gainesville Tuesday night. Details online at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for listening to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley, and we've had a very insightful day. A lot of phone calls, a lot of text, and I appreciate so much your confidence and your listening. Really do. Really, really do. All right, let's take a phone call. We'll go back to the phones. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show. Thanks for calling.
Tom, Steve Strickland, how you doing?
Hello, my brother Steve.
I can't help but think about you talked about, martyrs and using people. This didn't start today. It actually got into high gear with LBJ.
Mm-hmm.
He did legislation on the war on poverty. Part of that was earned income credit. He was a racist, by the way, but he made the statement that we would own the black vote for eternity. They paid people according to the number of children they had. It destroyed the black family. It made the federal government daddy, and it got the father out of the household. So this is nothing new. They've been doing it for a long time.
Steve, I think you're right in that analogy. I've heard that analysis before, and you really shared it very well, very articulately. It is true, I believe, that the federal government has done more harm than good through its welfare initiatives. That economist Milton Friedman says you can't do good with other people's money because you don't spend it wisely. And I think you're hitting on something very good there. I appreciate that. Appreciate you calling. Thank you. Take a phone call here. Another one. Thank you. Well, we're lighting it up today. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. Thanks for calling.
Hey, am I on there, Dr. Smiley?
You are live and in person.
All right, Doc. Hey, you point out a really good thing about these immigrants, and if you notice, Ilya Omar and all the other ones, everybody seems to vote Democrat. And I hear, social media and podcasters and talk radio overwhelms mainstream media. But there's one thing that I'm missing, and I haven't heard you say it today either, and I was going to call in the other day and ask Martha, is there something that keeps you from saying this? We don't have a plan. We talk all about how bad the Democrats are, but I never hear a plan. Well, the plan is very simple. Vote Republican. Defeat the Democrats. I wish that at the end of every podcast, every radio, that you show every social media influencers that we said that over and over again, because that's the only power we have. We can all sit here and complain, but the only way we're going to get rid of the Democrats is vote. So would you please add that? And unless the station says, hey, you can't say anything political, it would be illegal, whatever. But that's my biggest complaint. I'm tired of hearing about how bad the Democrats are, but no one's telling everybody all we need to do is vote. Get rid of them.
Well,
anyway, that's my story.
Doug, that's a great comment. I understand exactly what you're saying. And as a matter of fact, that's kind of a tagline that I use when I promote nuking the filibuster. Because I talk about we need to nuke the filibuster. I'll be talking to Bill Crane about that in just a moment. He is not for nuking the filibuster. I am. And he says, well, people like him will say things like, well, if we nuke the filibuster, then the Democrats are going to do that as well. Well, you know what? They're going to do it anyway. And the only way to keep that from happening after we nuke the filibuster is to vote Republicans to keep them in power so the Democrats can't undo it. So, yeah, you're right. Good comment. Thank you so very much for calling. The point is, from what I'm hearing from a lot of people, is that this far left, these protesters, they all have gone too far. They're intolerant and they've gone too far, i.e. storming a church. We heard about that just a few weeks ago. All right, we'll be right back. Bill Crane is coming up next at 10:30. We'll have a lively discussion with Bill. You stay tuned.
What if my parents suddenly need help? This is Kevin Tharp, elder law and estate planning attorney, and I've helped many people in your situation. With sound advice and planning, there's no reason why you can't help your loved ones as they need extended care late in life. It's up to you, however, to make the first call. Visit my website at kevintharp.com and learn how to get help planning for your family's future.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
I chose this for our wedding. It's called Together as One by Stryper. Totally picked the song because of the words, because it was the Unity Candle.
Yeah, sure.
But then it goes into this 2.5 minute solo, and my grandmother's on the front row and stuff. They're like, what is going on?
Always a lot of fun with Mornings on Main Street, weekdays on North Georgia's News Talk.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox News, I'm CJ Pop with a search in the mountains of California northwest of Lake Tahoe.
Minimal for avalanche in the area of Castle Peak.
An emergency dispatcher Tuesday, the audio from Broadcastify.
Those 9 backcountry skiers have been missing in some of the worst weather conditions you can possibly imagine. The good news is last night, 6 other people were rescued.
Fox's Claudia Cowan monitoring the surge. 2 of the safe skiers went to the hospital. No breakthrough in the case of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today show host Savannah Guthrie, missing for 18 days. DNA found near her Tucson home did not provide a match from the federal database. And Colorado native Michaela Schifrin ends an 8-year Olympic medal drought, grabbing gold in the women's slalom at the Winter Games. She was so dominant, she won the race before the event was actually over. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
WDUN. From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. A home in Gainesville declared a total loss as 3 people were displaced from a fire Tuesday afternoon. Hall County Fire Rescue crews responded at around 1:45 p.m. to a home on Garden Drive. Firefighters arrived to find a basement fully involved in flames. The cause is still under investigation with Hall County Fire Marshal's office. Democratic candidate for Georgia Governor Jeff Duncan held an event in Gainesville Tuesday night. He switched parties following the 2020 elections and cited his faith as a primary reason for turning away from the Republican Party.
Most people wake up with the charge of loving your neighbor. The problem is Republicans have asterisk marks next to that. If your neighbor doesn't look like you, act like you, love like you, or vote like you, you're not really allowed to love your neighbor. I'm a proud Democrat because I have no asterisk marks next to loving my neighbor.
The Georgia State primary for the race is May 19th, and a total of 13 students at Lanier Tech have been named inaugural recipients for the institution's Tim McDonald Scholarships. WDUN's Lawson Smith reports.
During Lanier Technical College's spring 2026 semester, 13 students have been appointed as Tim McDonald Scholars in reference to Lanier Technical College's 8th president, Tim McDonald. This inaugural group was awarded tuition-based scholarships based on grade point average, academic progression, and county of residency, courtesy of donations from the Melvin Douglas and Victoria K. Ivester Foundation.
A link to Lanier Tech and more news can be found at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies, mid to upper 60s. More clouds expected into tonight with lows in the upper 50s early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Cornelia, 53 degrees, Bethlehem, 56, and in Gainesville, 54. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
For the Norton Agency, selling real estate is personal. Our family name and reputation stand behind every sign, every business card, every associate, and every sale. With the ever-changing real estate practice, we hold strong ideals and professionally train and support our real estate advocates through every segment of the complicated process. I'm Frank Norton, and you can count on it. Norton, now more than ever. Call us at 770-532-0022 or look for us on the web at gonorton.com. Our family serving North Georgia for 4 generations.
Building, moving, remodeling, they all create more waste than will fit in your average garbage can. Thank goodness for Waste Eliminator. They offer roll-off dumpsters in all sizes. Just visit wasteeliminator.com, click on Order Dumpster, and they'll deliver just what you need. From simple home cleanout to large commercial projects, Waste Eliminator handles it all. Schedule your roll-off dumpster today at wasteeliminator.com. Environmentally responsible and committed to customer service. It's Waste Eliminator.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Brother Bill, glad to have you with us on the Martha Zoller Show. Bill Crane, political analyst, commentator, all around good guy. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Dr. John.
By the way, I got to tell you this. I won't go into the details, but our lunch we had, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so much fun to listen to your stories and your experiences.
Most of them are true, Dr. John.
But the one that got me, and I wake up at night laughing about this still, and I know it was painful for you. But the one that that awful
the airport.
day, the awful day you had at the airport with the gas and the whatever and the clothes change. I mean, that had to be a hellacious day.
Well, when you want to waste one of your entire segments, I'm happy to share it with your listeners. I've written about it. So.
Oh, man.
It was definitely a low point in the cancer journey, but it ended up that day on a high note.
Yeah, amen. Well, look, Bill, I've got some questions for you today, Mr. Expert Commentator. First of all, I'll begin with the easy stuff. What's your take on AOC's big foray into, foreign, international details as she tried to answer the question, are we going to support Taiwan? I mean, I know you've heard that clip. You've heard her stutter and stammer and word salad. Is that going to hurt her, help her?
She's an interesting character, I'll say, politically. She generally, not in those TikTok videos you're talking about, generally presents well. I've seen some stuff that she's done recently on the Hill where she was in a healthcare hearing and went after the CEO of CVS about, helping the American people understand they now own Aetna Insurance and other things, and kind of pointing out this loop of you get the prescription, go to CVS, they own the company that provides the prescriptions. They're one of the largest generic drug manufacturers. That they own that. They own the service that delivers it. They own the insurance company, and kind of what this means to the consumer. And the CEO says, well, I think it's very good for the consumer. And she goes, well, I think it's very good for CVS. So she can be on point. But a lot of her social media rants looks like she's had a couple. And she's talking to the camera before she goes to bed at night. And I don't think it hurts her given the makeup of her district, but I could see an opponent, if she gets a well-funded opponent, using some of her own ads as campaign commercials against her. Yeah. Because they do look like drunken rants. So,
and a lot of that same thing can go for Jasmine Crockett, not related to Davy. I mean, I don't know what she's thinking with some of the stuff she's talking about, trying to win Texas with her ghetto attitude, her ghetto talk. I don't know. Is that a good strategy to win a senatorial seat?
Well, I will say I don't expect that she'll match Beto O'Rourke's standing, which was pretty impressive as a Democrat in Texas, but there are some challenges with some of the Republicans in the field. But no, I think she's just looking for extra clicks and fundraising and some national support, whether it carries the race for or not, and I don't think it will.
All right, getting back more to our regional and local area, I interviewed last week on the Martha Zoller Show Clay Fuller, who is running for Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat in the 14th, I believe it is.
Former district attorney in the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit who has the president's endorsement for that.
So that's what I was going to ask you. How important was that endorsement for Clay Fuller?
Very, given that it's a special election, meaning all Republicans and Democrats run at the same time. There were 17 Republicans. A few of them have dropped in the last week. A couple have endorsed Mr. Fuller. A couple have endorsed Clayton Moore. And I believe the total field now, Republicans and Democrats, is 18 that are staying, even though they flunked their qualifying fees. They've asked to be withdrawn from the ballot. So a Trump endorsement in one of the most reliably Republican districts in the state and in one that he's visiting this week is significant, and I expect he'll speak to that endorsement in his visit to Rome, though he was asked about that race in, getting on or off the Air Force One the other day, and he didn't seem to be able to recall Mr. Fuller's name. But when he speaks at full-throated endorsement locally and the certain airtime commercials that will follow announcing that and direct mail piece, etc., it probably puts him at the top of the ballot in the runoff. And I would say at this point the most likely other person in the runoff is a Democrat, because that vote will all consolidate. There's only two Democrats in the race, and a retired brigadier general who ran previously and lost badly to Marjorie Taylor Greene, Sean Carter, I think it is, probably lands that second-place runoff berth.
So explain to our listeners again, because I had forgotten about this special election situation where they're all lumped together. There's no primary, and just the top two or the top 51% or 50 plus 1.
Well, if you get 50 plus 1, a majority, then you win. But if you don't, and with 18 names on the ballot, the math is difficult. It probably is a runoff. So in Georgia, if there is as opposed to a general election where an office comes open because the person leaves it or it's at the end of their term, or they seek re-election. There are Republican and Democratic primaries run by the state, and then there's a primary runoff if you don't have a majority there. Special elections occur when there's a sudden vacancy, a death, a person resigns, they're removed for criminal reasons, and those are shorter term in terms of the amount of time available to raise money and to raise your name ID, etc. And when we have those special elections in Georgia, both parties, as well as any independents, are all on the ballot. I don't like the term jungle primary. That's the most usual descriptive. I prefer gang primary. But all of the candidates in both parties are on the ballot at one time, and the top 2 vote getters go to a runoff if none of the candidates get a simple majority, which is 50% plus a single vote.
So you think it will have to be one of the Republicans and one of the Democrats, or could 2 Republicans?
I don't think it has to be that. But when we've looked at that race, and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tom Graves are the only 2 people that have ever held that seat, both Republicans, their margins have typically been 65 to 70%, the Republican in the general election, and the Democrat 30 to 35%. Following that math, if the Democratic vote consolidates with only 2 candidates and one of them pretty much invisible, then a second-place finish, again in a field of 18, say 25-30%, most likely wins you the runoff berth. The name that's best known, second place in the entire field, and that has the most visible campaign is State Senator Colton Moore, and he's got a shot. But the fact that he's self-named himself the state floor leader in the state Senate for President Trump when no such position exists, and he's kind of laid heavily into his relationship to the White House, and the fact they did not choose him, I think, is reverberating a bit around the district.
Boy, Tom Graves, that's a name I haven't heard in an age. What's up with him? What's he doing?
He has a young family, and I can't remember if he served 3 or 4 terms, but after several terms in the U.S. House, and he had become a mentee of U.S. Senator Johnny Isakson. He had a young family, and the strains of 2 households and traveling back and forth to Ranger, Georgia was weighing on him, and he made a decision to become a lobbyist. Now, does that mean he left Washington and he's back home in Ranger? That I don't know the answer to. I haven't seen Tom probably in about 6 years, but he had accepted a position with a lobbying firm in Washington not long after he announced he was leaving Congress, when the revolving door was still revolving. And I believe that is what he's doing now.
All right, I've got to ask you this question. I've got 2 questions for you. The second one is but the first one is this. Former Lieutenant Governor, who I have not named, I do not allow his name to pass through my lips. I have no respect for him, was in Gainesville talking about his switch from the Republicans to the Democrats. What do you take from all that? I mean, does he really think he has a chance to be the next governor of Georgia?
Can I say his name? I know
yeah,
you
can.
Want to.
You can say. I'm not.
So, former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, who was a Republican and served from 2018 to 22 as Lieutenant Governor, subsequently left the party. But before he did that, he endorsed Joe Biden. Then he endorsed Kamala Harris, and he was very disenchanted with President Trump. I don't see any path for him in the Democratic primary to make the runoff for governor. He is a candidate there. I'll say 2 significant reasons. One is the makeup of the Democratic Party's base in a primary doesn't look like you or I. And he's a white guy. The last time a white male, excluding the Special Election for Public Service Commission, was nominated by the Democratic Party of Georgia and won was 2004, when Mark Taylor, the lieutenant governor at that time, as a Democrat, won re-election and then got emasculated and had all the powers of the office stripped away by a now Republican state Senate. I don't think there's math there. The other thing is, other than being sort of a novel, oh, look, and popping up on national media, which he seems to do with some degree of frequency, and I like as a person, Jeff Duncan, I don't think it's credible for Democrats to look at him being pro-life and very conservative, this, that, and the other 6 months ago, and now the standard bearer for their party. I think maybe he could have made him run for county commission or school board or maybe even a state legislative post after the switch. But to run for the top office on the ticket, I don't see it. And where I'm looking at now on the Democratic side is probably a runoff for governor between Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, who's bringing California Governor Gavin Newsom to Atlanta to campaign for this upcoming week, and Michael Thurmond, the former CEO of DeKalb County, as well as school superintendent of DeKalb County and state labor commissioner, who does pretty well statewide, and particularly among older Democrats, has some solid name recognition.
All right, I've got to get to this because this is an area of disagreement between you and I think. I've determined in my own mind that it's time to nuke the filibuster. I just because I've heard James Carville, I've heard him with his own lips say they're going to do it if they need to get Puerto Rico a state, Washington a state, and pack the Supreme Court. So they're going to do it anyway. And the best way not to let them do that is to keep winning, which we may or may not do. So tell me why we shouldn't nuke the filibuster to get the SAVE Act and some other important legislation passed.
I am a believer that single-party politics running the day and show, and only meaning that you can't get support for your ideas unless it's all members of your party, it's a flawed strategy. Primarily because when the margins are narrow, it's only a bad election cycle that puts you in the minority. And if you do away with the rules that require 60 votes or more than a majority for cloture to have a vote, you essentially hand the other side the keys. And I do believe there are some old-school, long-standing Democratic members of the Senate who, for that very reason, will not support the end of the filibuster, the end of votes of cloture. And we can remember when Democratic Senator Harry Reid was the Senate Majority Leader.
Right.
He changed the rules on how we nominate U.S. Supreme Court justices, which used to require 60 votes in approval to put them on the bench, and now only requires a simple majority. And I can tell you for sure the Democratic Party wishes they had not done that.
So what?
With 3, now soon to be 4, probably justices placed on the court by Donald Trump.
So are you saying that even if the Democrats were to win the House and or the Senate, say they win both, that they won't win it with such a majority that they could pass the filibuster being nuked themselves? Is that what
Correct.
you're saying?
Correct at this point in time.
But you don't,
based on what I expect will happen in the Senate races, yes.
But you don't disagree with the fact that if they could, they would.
When you look at people that are in the Senate chamber, above all else, they are old. I mean, I'm talking about Chuck Grassley of Iowa is, I think, 92, and Chuck Schumer's in his 80s, and Nancy Pelosi just announced she was leaving the U.S. House. There are a lot of U.S. senators that are both traditionalists of the body and have been there a long time, and they've been in a majority and they've been a minority. And minority kind of sucks, but they understand those rules that are in place of operation. They're not in the Constitution. They're voted on by the members of the body, but that allows the minority party to still have a voice, a vote, to be significant. And for lack of a better way to describe it for our listening audience, the U.S. Senate is oftentimes the brakes when a fast-moving piece of legislation pops up and there's popular sentiment or angst in the country. Bills that aren't always the best idea move very quickly through the House and slide over to the Senate. And the Senate, because of this structure and the requirement for significant legislation on budget expenditures, etc., to have support in both parties and more than a simple majority, oftentimes blocks the path to the White House and the president's signature.
All right, Bill Crane, my friend, political analyst and commentator, well done. And I will call people's attention to One Man's Opinion. It's on our website here at WDUN, and you can get it through several different out places. But Bill, you're a fine American, and I appreciate your friendship.
I try, and I'll share the plane story the next time we get to chat on the air.
Okay.
I'll condense it down. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bill Crane, good guy. Check him out. He has his commentary or his blog or whatever is entitled One Man's Opinion, and he sends that weekly, I believe, and you can check it out here at Access WDUN. All right, we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break. We'll take some phone calls, some text, good text, by the way, 770-535-2911. Remember what a good text is. It begins with a compliment to the fill-in host or the fill-in producer. So that's a good thing to remember as you write your text. We'll be right back.
It's the news that affects you and the talk that keeps you listening.
We'll continue on with additional discussions today as we stay engaged.
North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Does your office technology slow your team down? Nothing is more frustrating than printers that jam, copiers that won't connect, and service providers that don't follow through. You and your team deserve technology that works. I'm Matt Nick, president of Duplicating Products, and for over 50 years, we've helped North Georgia offices eliminate bottlenecks, reduce downtime, and get reliable support for office technology. Our promise, we do what we say we will do. If you're tired of office equipment headaches, it's time for a change. Visit us today at duplicatingproducts.com.
United We Run for those struggling to make ends meet. Join us Saturday, March 21st at 9 a.m. as we race through Phase 2 of the scenic Highlands to Islands Trail. This event features a 5K and 1 mile fun run with every step supporting United Way of Hall County's One Hall United Against Poverty initiative. Make an even bigger impact by becoming a sponsor. For more information and to register, log on to unitedwayhallcounty.org/race.
It's bad enough you get wet when your roof leaks, so don't get soaked when it comes to getting it repaired. This is Chris Earls at Georgia Select Roofing, where we have outstanding Google reviews and an A+ BBB rating, because we know roofing and customer service. If it's a new roof, a roof repair, or gutters and downspouts, estimates are free and we offer financing. See us online at georgiaselectroofing.com or call me at 678-316-6899. At Georgia Select Roofing, we have you covered.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, 4 people have been arrested in connection to the February 10th shooting in the parking lot of Stevens County High School. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. We get text. We appreciate them. By the way, here's a text from, Patty in Cleveland, and Patty offers me some advice about my commentary. She says, listen to your wife, calm down, watch your tone. So and she says some other very good, helpful things as well. So thank you, Patty. Thanks for listening, and thanks for sharing your thoughts, and I appreciate it. Okay, there's some other ones here. I think I've read that. That one's good. This is one. So good text. 770-535-2911 is our call and text line. Now, I've got a couple of things left in my hopper that I filled up last week, about 11 days ago. I've got to get to. One is a segment on Sharia law and radical Islam. I've got to present that to you because it's very important, and I don't know who else is going to if you don't hear it from me. So I think tomorrow we'll try to hit on that in the earlier segment. Radical Islam and Sharia law. I'll give you the truth about that. And then also tomorrow, Martha will be back. She'll be in for an hour or so we'll see what's on her mind. And then Friday, I have another hoax I want to go over, and that's the climate change hoax. I've got to give you the truth about that hoax. And I'm going to have Dr. Douglas Young in with me on that. So that's what's lined up for tomorrow and Friday. I was talking earlier before we had some phone calls and some text messages I had to get to, but I was talking to you about how many people are just so frustrated with, the intolerant left and the protesting and the chaos and et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera. And people do agree. I think many of us do say, look, it's gone too far. Like, first, you can't storm a church in your protest. You can't, that's too far. Okay? Hold up your sign. Do your protesting, but you can't throw bottles and rocks at cars and assault police officers and storm churches. That's just too far.
Today in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a group of activists led by Don Lemon stormed a Baptist church by the name of Cities Church during their worship time. They were screaming and chanting, disrupting the singing and the preaching, because they suspected an ICE officer may attend the church. This is a violation of what is known as the FACE Act, and not only do we condemn this act, but tonight I want to demand that the Department of Justice investigate what took place in Minneapolis, apprehend those who broke the law, and arrest them accordingly. We must protect religious liberty in this country. As people meet to worship God, they have been given legally the right to enter, to worship, and to leave their place of worship. The Lord Jesus said, "In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." I have preached for many years that there will come a time when we'll find out who are Christians by label and by convenience, and who are Christians by conviction. And certainly we're entering those days now. I believe we should pray for this congregation, and we should be vigilant as Christians to exercise our freedom, to worship our Savior, and to stand unashamed for the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I might add as a subnote that we welcome all branches of law enforcement to Lancaster Baptist Church. So let us pause before we begin tonight and have a word of prayer and ask the Lord to bless and to meet the needs in this situation.
That's a pastor who's speaking to his congregation about really the lunatic left going too far. And I think he had some great words. They were measured, they were clear, they were articulate. So I just want to end with that today, because I think all of us, I don't know, raise your hand out there if you think that that's okay to storm a church. Let me tell you something. I would be of the same opinion if someone stormed a mosque, or if someone stormed a synagogue, or if someone stormed a church. That's all inappropriate. That is not your First Amendment right. The First Amendment does not give you the right to protest with violence, chaos, confusion, entering churches, entering synagogues, entering mosques. That's not your right. The First Amendment does not support that. That is an improper reading of the First Amendment. Come on now, put on your thinking caps and get your facts straight. All right, I'll be back with you tomorrow on the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley filling in. Thank you, Avery, for all your work today, and we'll see you, hopefully, tomorrow.
The views expressed on the Martha Zoller Show are those of the hosts and callers and don't necessarily reflect those of Jacobs Media or our advertisers. The Martha Zoller Show is a presentation of North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9, WDUN.
It's almost time to show off those lawn stripes and to turn a few heads in the neighborhood. When it comes to stripes, nothing beats the Skag Advantage. Skag mowers are built for durability and designed to deliver the clean, professional stripes you want this spring. Stop by Howard Brothers and take home a Skag that will have your lawn looking its best all season long. The grass is